Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I don't know if you noticed, but I think you do. I've stepped up the lighting game in my video, so I'm really happy, but please give me your feedback down below so that I know what you guys think. Now moving on to the actual subject of this video. As you can probably see by the title of the video, I am giving you a tutorial on this brown smoky eye. I hope you like this kind of looks. I love it. This is actually my go-to absolute favorite smoky eye to wear. I just adapted. I can go lighter, I can go a little bit darker with the shades. You know, I just adapt it to whatever occasion I have to face that day. So, moving on to the actual makeup look. As you can see, I've done my full complexion and I've also done my lips. I'm not going to do my complexion on camera just because I did it the exact same way that I explained to you guys in my previous video. So, if you haven't seen it and you're curious on how I got my skin to look like this, you just have to check out my previous video, which I will leave linked down below, and I will also leave it in the end of this video so that you can check it afterwards. For this eye makeup look, I'll be using one single eyeshadow palette. It's the Friendication by DESI and KATY in collaboration with Dose Colors. This is the palette, you probably know it. It's really good. I love this eyeshadow palette so much. It's actually my last purchase when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, and it has been my favorite ever since. I just feel like the eyeshadows are super pigmented, they are super easy to blend, and the range of colors are perfect, at least for my taste. This is what it looks like. I am sorry, it has been well loved in the past few months. I've always done this kind of look, but I feel like ever since I bought this palette, that smoky eye has been leveled up in a way that I can't even begin to describe to you guys. But before we get started with the actual tutorial, I want to make something clear, is that if you don't have this exact same palette and you don't have the budget to buy it, because I know that this is a little bit pricey, or if you just feel like you have something that, you know, can get you the same result, or if you want to apply the techniques that I use but with another range of colors, let's say it, just feel free to use it. I am in no way trying to encourage any sort of excessive consumerism, so just take the best use out of what you have, and please don't feel like you have to buy the exact same products as me or anyone doing a tutorial and posting it on YouTube says, because you can use whatever you have and take the best use out of it. Since this is an eye makeup tutorial, I'll just zoom in so that you guys can see in detail what I'm doing and how I am applying my eyeshadow. So first of all, I am picking Necessary, which is this light brown, to be my transition shade. And I'll be using a ZOEVA 228 brush. This is the brush. This is my favorite blending brush. I'm picking some of the shadow, tapping to remove the excess, and then apply it my crease. I love to use a transition shade because it gives you a better understanding of your eye shape and helps you define it in general. And besides, it helps everything blend a lot easier, so it's always a plus. I'm just blending it really well. So next I'm taking Shuru, which is this darker brown, to define my crease a little bit better and give it a little bit more depth. This is actually a step that I usually skip just because I always go for more natural looks, but this kind of smoky eye I usually adapt. Like if I'm going on a night out or if I'm feeling, you know, a little bit more glamorous one day, I just use this darker shadow on my crease. But if I feel like wearing a more natural look, I just skip this step and move on to the next one. So if you want to add a little bit more definition to the crease, it's fine. If you don't want to, you can perfectly skip this and do the rest of the tutorial. So to apply this shadow, I'll be using the Morphe brush Y16, I guess. Like the number on the brush is kind of faded, but I feel like this is the number. So I'm going to place the brush exactly on my crease. I love to do this with my eyes open. I feel like if I close my eyes, once I open them, the shade is all over. So I like to do this looking straight in the mirror and with my eyes slightly open. As you can see, I only bring the shadow until like half of my eye. I either do this with this brush As you can see, it's a little bit flat. It's not like a usual round blending brush. Or I use this brush from Morphe, which I really love as well. But usually I pick this one whenever I'm working with really dark shades. Besides applying it in my crease, I also apply in the outer part of my eye. So I don't really want to go much darker than this, so I feel like I'm just going to leave the amount of pigment that there is. And now I'm going over with the ZOEVA brush that I used to apply my transition shade. You can use whatever blending brush you have. And I'm just going over the two eyeshadows that I applied just to make sure that they blend together perfectly and that I don't have any harsh lines. I also blend the eyeshadow that I placed in the outer part of my eye. So next, what I'm going to do is a trick that I've learned on YouTube. I think it was a girl that saw a masterclass from Makeup by ARDELL, if I'm not wrong. I'm sorry if I'm making a mistake. And basically the trick that he used was to pick your bronzer with your blending brush and then go over the eyeshadows and pull it outwards. It kind of connects the bronzer and the eyeshadows and it looks so flawless. It's such a simple trick, but once I've started doing it, I've never stopped. I'll try to use this attempt of mirror. What I'm going to do is to place the bronzer on my crease and just blend it over the other eyeshadows. I go a little bit high with the bronzer. I don't apply too much product because I don't want my look to get darker. I just want the colors to kind of connect to the colors that I have on the rest of my skin. And now I apply in the outer V and I do this. I don't really do this step with the other eyeshadows ever since I started doing this with the bronzer. I don't know if you can really see the difference, but like this eye is like this and this is just rounded by the eyeshadows. So now moving on to the lid, I'll be applying this shimmer, which is Just a Kiss. I love this shimmer. Like, I've always wanted to buy a shimmer with this effect, but I could never find it, and it's honestly the eyeshadow that sold me the palette, because this is almost like stardust. I can't even begin to describe to you guys, but you will see once I apply it. It's like the shiny pigments are a little bit more sparse and it just looks so flattering, so natural. It makes you look like you're glowing from within. That was your lid when you woke up, you know? When it comes to shimmer shades, I feel like they all apply better with the fingers, so I always use my pinky finger to apply it, and then I go over with a smaller, precise brush to apply it wherever I cannot reach with enough precision. And the brush that I'll be using to do it is the Morphe M213 brush. As you can see, it's flat and it's really tiny. Oh my god. Can you see what I was telling you guys? I know this might seem a little bit odd, but I apply it almost until the end of my lid. I love doing this because I love blending afterwards the shimmer with the matte eyeshadow in the outer corner. One thing that I love doing when I'm applying shimmer and my goal is a smoky eye is instead of stop applying the shimmer on my crease, I always take it a little bit higher, because once I'm blending the whole thing together, I just love the effect that it gives, because it makes it seem like the shimmer is rising until blending in with the brown shades. So now moving on to my favorite kind of eyeliner, it's my brown smoky liner. For that I'll be using the Urban Decay Glide On Eye Pencil Waterproof Long Lasting pencil, I guess, in the shade Whiskey, which is just a dark matte brown. As you can imagine, it's not really easy to get the sharp wing with a pencil because the tip isn't really that sharp unless you're always sharpening it. So what I love to do is use this plastic. This is one of those things that come with the palette to protect the mirror. And what I do is I place it wherever I want my wing to be. Let me see, because I'm not seeing what I'm doing right now. I just place it like this. and then I draw the wing in here. For the upper part of the wing, you don't really have to worry because since we're smoking it out, you don't really have to be that precise, but for the down part, especially because I did my complexion, I want to make sure that it's precise enough. I am sorry guys if you cannot really see how I'm doing this step, but I don't have a better place to put my mirror on. But yeah, basically I'm just drawing a line. As you can see, I wasn't precise at all because I'm smudging it with an eyeshadow, so please don't worry if it doesn't look perfect because it doesn't have to. So now what I'm gonna do is draw a line as close as possible to my lash line with the same pencil. So that is it for the attempt of liner. Now what I'm gonna do is I'll pick a darker brown from the same palette. This is the brown that I'll be using and it's called Jeans. And I'll use it to smudge my eyeliner with this Morphe brush. This is the M210. As you can see, it's pretty flat. And I'll pick some of the shadow, remove the excess. Always remove the excess, especially when you do your complexion first, because you don't want to have fallout. And I'll just start by pressing the shadow against the eyeliner that I just did with a pencil. When you're doing this, be careful not to go too close to the end of the wing, because it can turn out to be a mess if you do it. Now that I've pressed enough pigment on the liner, I'm going to start to actually smudge it. So what I'm going to do is this movement. I'll just go back and forth in the limits of the liner. And by the way, if you feel like you brought the shadow too high on your lid, all you gotta do is just apply a little bit more shimmer. So there is it for my smoky brown eyeliner. Now, the only thing I have left is the lower lash line. To apply eyeshadow in my lower lash line, I will use this Morphe brush that I've already shown you. This is the M506. First of all, I start by applying the transition shade, and in case you don't remember, it was this light brown called Necessary. One thing that you want to do when you're applying eyeshadow in your lower lash line is to look straight in the mirror and with your eyes open, apply the eyeshadow. I go a little bit lower with my transition shade because once you apply mascara, it's like it's not even there. You know, it just helps blend the darker shade that I'm going to apply next. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I always feel like the eyeshadow that I put on my lower lash line always fades away, and by like middle of the night I don't have anything in there. Even without tears, I don't know, it just runs away from me. Now I'll be picking the slightly darker brown that I used to add a little bit more depth to the crease, the one called Churro. And I'll be using the same brush, but I will be a lot more careful applying it. I will try to keep it as close as possible to the lash line. I'm pretty sure that doing weird faces doesn't help doing makeup, but I don't know, I just cannot help it. Usually I just cut the parts of the video in which I do like these really creepy faces. I mean, I don't want to scare people off my channel. I should have reapplied lipstick because I had a break to eat something. I was starving. But I didn't want to go through all the work again, so I was like, no, it's fine. It's not. So now to finish my lower lash line, all I'm going to do is apply this pencil in the waterline. If you have really small eyes, skip this step because applying a dark pencil on your waterline will make your eye look even smaller. You can actually apply a really light pencil. I just don't have any. If I did, I probably would do it. Now I'm just picking a little bit of this dark brown, which is called Jeans, and I'm going as close as possible to my waterline. Now that I've applied enough pigment, I'm just going to blend using the same Morphe brush that I used to apply the other eyeshadows in my lower lash line. So, funny story, I thought my phone was recording, but it was not because I forgot to set it to record. But basically I went off camera, not on purpose, and I curled my lashes and I've applied falsies. These are the Wispies from ARDELL. So once the lash glue is dried, what I love to do is to curl the lashes together just to make sure that they blend together and that they have the shape that I want. And I don't know if it's because my lashes are kind of long, but I still struggle applying falsies. Even though I have applied falsies a zillion times in my life. So now what I'm going to do is take this L'Oreal mascara. So what I'm gonna do is start in the roots and zigzag until the end of the lashes. Lashes are done and I fixed a thing or two that I thought that could be improved. So now I'll just give you one last close-up of my eye makeup look so that you can see how it turned out in the end, and then I'll zoom out so that you can see how it looks so flattering overall with the rest of the makeup. So yeah guys, that is it for this tutorial. I loved how it turned out. So yeah, I hope you liked it and I hope you found useful tips and tricks in my video. And please don't forget to give me your feedback down below so that I can improve. And also, if you want to support me and my channel, please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. It's an amazing way of supporting content creators, so I would really appreciate it. Bye, and I hope to see you in my next video.